You replace every single drop of water in your body with deuterium oxide. It looks like water. It tastes like water. But every hydrogen atom now carries an extra neutron. Your biology is no longer running on standard fuel. The internal clock starts ticking now. At first, nothing feels different. The heavy water flows through your veins, it fills your cells, but the extra mass changes everything. Chemical bonds become slightly stronger. Reaction speeds shift. Enzymes, the tiny machines of life, start to struggle. They are designed for light hydrogen. Heavy hydrogen is a clunky substitute. Your metabolism begins to stutter. It is like trying to run a precision watch using pebbles instead of gears. This is the kinetic isotope effect. Heavier atoms move slower. This tiny difference in speed ripples through every biological process. DNA replication slows down, proteins fold incorrectly. The machinery of the cell is timing its movements to the nanosecond. Now every movement is lagging. It is a systemic delay. Your heart beats, but the chemical signal to contract arrives a fraction of a second late. Lungs expand, but the gas exchange is inefficient. The body is essentially fighting against its own chemistry. Every enzyme in your body is now a slightly broken tool. You are not poisoned in the traditional sense. You are simply becoming far too heavy to function. You might notice a strange side effect. Your urine is now slightly heavier than normal water. If you poured it into a glass of regular water, it would sink to the bottom. Your biological waste is now performing a physics demonstration. This is visually fascinating. The real disaster happens at the cellular level. Mitosis is the process where cells divide. This requires a precise sequence of chemical breaks and bonds. The deuterium bonds are too strong. The cellular scissors cannot cut the DNA strands. Cell division grinds to a halt. Your skin cannot regenerate. Your gut lining begins to slough off. The bloodstream loses the ability to replace dead white blood cells. Your immune system vanishes. A simple sneeze becomes a catastrophic event. The body is no longer a living organism. It is a collection of cells that forgot how to copy themselves. Tissues begin to degrade. Organs fail not because of toxins, but because of a lack of maintenance. You are essentially a building where the repair crew has gone on a permanent strike. The structure is still there, but the foundation is rotting away. Now the nervous system fails. Neurons rely on the rapid movement of ions across membranes. Potassium and sodium dance in a precise rhythm to send signals. But heavy water alters the hydration shell of these ions. The electrical impulses slow down. Your thoughts become sluggish. The gap between a thought and an action widens. You try to lift your arm, but the signal arrives like a slow letter in the mail. Coordination vanishes. The brain begins to misfire. Hallucinations set in as the neurotransmitters fail to bind correctly to their receptors. The internal map of your body dissolves. You can no longer feel where your legs are. The brain is effectively disconnecting from the hardware. Consciousness flickers like a dying light bulb. There is no pain, only a profound sense of lag. You are a biological computer experiencing a massive system slowdown. The operating system is crashing. The blue screen of death is now a biological reality. Everything is sliding into a heavy, silent stillness. This is the end. Death occurs, but the process does not stop. The heavy water remains. Bacteria usually decompose a body, but most bacteria also rely on standard hydrogen. The heavy water in your tissues inhibits bacterial growth. Your corpse does not rot in the usual way. It becomes a chemically stabilized monument to a bad decision. Over time, the heavy water begins to leach into the surrounding soil. Local plants absorb the deuterium. The grass around your grave starts growing slightly slower. Insects that feed on the grass experience the same kinetic isotope effect. Their wings beat slower. Their mating dances become clumsy. A localized zone of biological sluggishness spreads from your remains. The entire ecosystem begins to lag. It is a slow-motion apocalypse in a 10-foot radius. The soil becomes a heavy water swamp. Every organism that enters the perimeter feels a strange lethargy. The birds forget how to fly. The worms move in slow motion. You have successfully created a sanctuary of inefficiency. A dead zone where physics simply decides to take a nap. The environment is now as heavy and tired as you were in your final moments. Everything is just slower. So drinking only heavy water is fatal. It does not explode, it does not melt you. It just makes you too heavy for your own chemistry to handle. You simply stop working. However, there is a legal complication. Because deuterium is a naturally occurring isotope and not a registered toxin, your death might not technically be classified as a poisoning. Your insurance company will likely argue that you died of natural causes. They will refuse to pay out the life insurance policy. That is unfortunate. You are now a heavy, non-biodegradable statue, a permanent reminder that isotopes matter. Your legacy is a small patch of very slow grass and a very frustrated insurance adjuster. Science is beautiful, but it is also very, very inconvenient. Please do not drink heavy water. Want to see what happens if you jump into a black hole with a toaster? Subscribe to the What If Club. We have many more terrible ideas for you.